Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel, and today we are going to be doing a quick backtesting session. So I'm back on FX Replay and I'm just going to start with the default balance NQ, ES, and YM. I've already set up my chart layout, so now I'm going to ask ChatGPT to give me a random date between, let's say, 2023 and 2025. So here's going to be our starting date. So September in 2024, and that was September 14th. So this is going to be start, and I'm just going to put the end date here. So let's start off from the daily chart. So I'm going to remove everything that was left from my setup session. So first things first, from the daily chart, what do we expect? So just basing it off, this is going to be a Friday. So, and well, we're already, let me see if I have, yeah. So let's just go to the next New York session. So this is going to be Monday, September 16th. And just basing it off of the previous day, I just want to see a continuation from 50% of this range. Our draw on liquidity would be this previous high and this high right here. Overall, pretty much the same on the other assets. So again, 50% wanting to be respected. And then this September 3rd will be our final target. Looking at the 7-hour, I don't know why it didn't go to, so this is going to be 9:30. So just from the 7-hour, I don't like this profile that we seem to be disrespecting 50%. I would much rather see a quick move to the upside at 9:30. You can see that YM just opened up higher, and this is gonna be our short-term target on YM. I'm just gonna put this as our final target because all of these are failure swings to this one. And ES is opening inside of a consolidation. This is Monday, so we are just gonna take it up until 9:45, I think, to see how price pans out. Given that NQ is just so deep inside this range, if we respect 50% of this wick, we might be able to go up higher. But if you just open up and dump, I want to see this low get taken for us to seek a move back inside this range. But given that this day was a open low, so the wick of the daily candle is going to be pretty large. I don't know if NQ has the power and strength to just go 200 points up to this previous day high, but we're going to see. So looking at the 15-minute chart, I'm going to let price play out until 9:45, and then we'll see from there. So here's 9:45. Let's look back at the 1 hour. So we have also taken out this low here. Okay, so we have quite a spaced out divergence. YM has already taken the all-time highs. So I'm gonna see what YM wants to do. So are these actually all-time highs? Yep, looks like they are. So YM at all-time highs. Overall, the strength leader to the upside, but I'm not sure if I'm gonna take trades on YM today, given that it has expanded so much. Looking again at the 4-hour, we can see that NQ is inside this fair value gap. So hope is not lost for NQ, but I want to see how we trade closer to the 10 o'clock hour. You can see that ES was stuck in this consolidation between this candle's high and low. And I want to see how NQ reacts right now in YM as well, given that it has taken its buy side. So I'm going to wait for 10. And this reaction is really good from all of the assets. So this is going to be 10. So again, from the 4-hour, what do we see? We can see that NQ reacted nicely off of this 4-hour gap. We have SMT, quite a spaced out SMT with ES like this. So we have SMT inside the gap. Everything is pretty much pointing to the upside on all the assets. It's nice seeing YM just close with a body above all of these highs here. That is a really good sign. But overall, I think I'm just going to stick to either ES or NQ. If NQ wants to suddenly become the leading asset, having a strength switch with YM, but we'll see about that, because right now YM is super overextended and we don't have any targets. So let's see if we can drop inside much deeper here, not just this tap, because my stop loss would be like 100 points or close to it. Maybe we get a retracement back inside the range on ES and we can trade it up to this high, given that you can see how spaced out ES is compared to NQ, and not even taking into consideration YM, because this is overall the strength leader. So playing price forward, we do have SMT fill here, and that is really a good sign, because right now it really looks like NQ is going to be the leader to the upside. We only have that on the 5-minute. On the 3-minute, it is not present. So given that we had this reaction here, do we have anything on the 15? And no, we don't, but I feel like we should have taken a trade here, but I'm just gonna go here, and I think, yeah, to be just around these highs here, which is a good sign. And overall, I could put my stop below this IFG here, and would I get to this high, maybe like this. Yeah, close to it. So I think this is gonna be the better stop, just playing it safe, and I'm gonna put a limit order here. So let's see, I get tapped aside, and let's monitor the situation. For now, it is not going that well. We should be respecting 50% of this gap, and yeah, stopped out. So yeah, not much I can say here. Just a pretty consolidating Monday. We had a good reaction out of this gap, but overall, from this 4-hour, if we have, and we don't, so I do not have a setup to go short off of, and price just starts to consolidate. Yeah, not much I can do here. I feel like this was a pretty good setup. We had this inversion off of a higher time frame gap. Really nice sequence on the 15-minute, just having this as our order block. And yeah, let's go to the next session. So I'm gonna be deleting everything and starting off fresh. So again, daily, this was a contract change, and we gapped up above this high. So basically this becomes my new target. Overall, ES is above its all-time highs, and YM as well. So I'm just gonna be leaning bullish. Overall, just fully bullish, expecting a New York continuation. Maybe at 10 a.m. we drop inside this 4-hour gap, because right now we are too overextended and I cannot trade this any higher. So I'm just gonna let price play out a bit until 10. So this is nice. We are inside this 1-hour Ferrari gap here. So right now, as we are opening at 10, I want to see the other assets make their way inside this gap as well, and maybe just ANQ holds that gap, and we have SMT fill. But looks like we're just going up, disrespecting that. So pretty much nothing for me here. Overall, YM looks to be, again, the leader. So I just have to wait for a retracement of some sort and maybe a C2 that could potentially be seen as a new swing form. So we can see that on ES, we had this gap. And so overall, our daily bias is still to the upside. Profile supports this New York continuation. Do we have any cracks in correlation? And we have a PSP. Do we have SMT? No, we don't. So anyway, this is just a continuation. So we're going to be demanding only one cracking correlation. We have our key level. And now as for the entry, I want to see something that we can trust as our stop loss. So this is going to be 1045. So if we take out this low, I could be looking to enter, because overall on the 5 and 3 we have not CISD, but on the 1 minute you see that we have. So I wanted, yeah, never mind. This is now an invalidation of the profile, given that we have taken out these equal highs here, and now we are just displacing to the downside. So we have this inversion gap created. We have the C2 formed. We also have the CISD on the 5 minutes. So overall, because this is a C2 candle, I'm gonna be looking for shorts back into this range. So we have had quite a nice reaction here on the 3. No closure. Maybe one more sweep. This is really nice. If we get, we still do not get that closure. So I'm just going to be waiting for a closure below this sequence of up close candles. And there we go. So this is 11:30, and we are going to be trading the C4 continuation. We also have a nice another C2 formed. So I'm just going to take my entry here, and my stop would be above the bodies. And let's see where 2R gets us. So 2R would be close to here, which is pretty much the daily open. So let's see how that pans out. So overall, this is looking pretty good. I want to see a retracement back in here, and I want to see rejections. And for now, we're just consolidating, and I like this. So if we close below here, okay, now I can trail my stop to this high, given that this was a new order block. And now we have taken out this low. I want to see a closure below this 15, or sorry, I think it was a 4-hour gap. And really nicely, we have displaced back to the opening price. Overall, not the best day, pretty choppy, but we had this really nice C2 on the hourly, confirmed again by the CISD. Then at 11, we opened up inside of this gap. So this is our BPR right here. So nice BPR. We closed below it. stop basically to the bodies. I think it was on the 3 minute. So pretty much the same setup on both 3 and 5, because we had as well, we had this nice C2, then C3, and I was looking to trade the C4 continuation to the downside. Overall, the profile, not the best, given that we had this contract change and it really skewed up the chart. But I think the read was good, and we really capitalized on this 10 a.m. high being the high of the day, and then just catching this really nice displacement to the downside. Yeah, let's go to the next session. So deleting everything once again. So daily chart. So from the daily chart, this was again what I considered is a reversal. Let's see on the other assets. Pretty indecisive candle. So overall, I don't have a clear bias, maybe just because we have a small wick. Maybe we could still see upside to this high that we made at 10 a.m. the previous day, because overall, we only have we have a 2-stage at this low of day. You can see that just looking at YM, we have this BSB and SMT, and then we have another SMT with the New York candle on the 4-hour. Nothing really major, no fair value gaps to really tell us if the low is really in or not. Here, this is our range that we're currently finding ourselves into. So no order paired ranges, nothing really that significant. So I'm just gonna have to see how 930 plays out. Yes, we have this nice C2. This is FOMC. Oh yeah, we have FOMC. So yeah, we have this nice C2 at 8 o'clock, but you can see that we already have SMT like this with YM. So I'm just gonna wait a little bit. Maybe we have a retracement back inside this range, and we can see YM just reverse off of these lows and see make itself its way up. So nice, we get a tap inside of that gap. Overall, NQ is gonna be the stronger asset of the three. So nothing that we could trade for now. I want to see what 10 a.m. does. So this is a really nice 15-minute C2 and probably a 30, no, 30, not a C2. Given that YM is so close to this low, I would really want to see YM take that and then reverse off of it, because this will be a order paired range, and this is going to be a really nice low of day to be put in, and then YM maybe just want to make its way back to the daily open, while these other assets can expand to the other side of the range. So I'm going to wait for YM to take out that low, because until then, I'm not really convinced that we're going to do anything, because we're just going to be stuck in this range. So I'm still playing forward and I'm not seeing anything. Okay, NQ decided that, okay, YM is not gonna be taking that low, so I'm gonna do it instead. I'm just gonna fast forward to the next 4-hour candle. But I don't like that we have these failure swings and none of the assets took them out, so I'm gonna be really wary. Yeah, so yeah, nothing there, just maybe we will have FOMC acting as a 2-stage. So we have taken out the highs, and now we have engineered some sell side down below that we could probably target. So I'm gonna watch this on the 30-minute, and coming into 14:30, We can seek a setup to the downside given that FOMC is a two-stage event. So let's see. We have started to displace heavily, but I want to see some SMTs forming because I don't like that we had this highs. So these highs here are not good. Yeah, I think we're just gonna take those lows. No, this is just a huge consolidation. So yeah, we end up taking the lows, but this is wild. So let's get to the next session. Once again, daily chart. So yeah, okay. I think we have expanded so much that the average daily range is pretty much capped. My final target maybe would be this daily fair value gap on NQ, and we don't have targets on the other assets. So either we trade which was the strongest. They're basically all the same. So we can pretty much trade whatever asset is the strongest at 9:30 up until NQ hits this gap because there's nothing that we can do. So just from the open, we have validated this as our order block after taking out short-term liquidity. So yeah, we had reason to go up, but this much movement really doesn't support. Maybe 100 points, yes, but we would need to see a big retracement at 9:30. Otherwise, we just pump and we don't get anything because on the 30-minute, this is quite a nice setup. We have SMT at these lows. We have a really nice C2, a valid C2. So yeah, maybe if we just drop a little bit and then make our way back. So right here, so if I were to enter here, which is not what I typically like because this is just so overextended and at the high of day, and I couldn't even get 1.5. So I'm not going to be taking this because one, we are at the high of day, and two, the other assets just look to be doing separate things, and I want them all aligned if I'm going to be taking a trade so high up in the range. So I'm just going to wait. I'll wait for 9:45. So 9:45 just comes in. We are still inside this gap. So overall, NQ seems to be the strongest asset. I want to see what the other assets are doing. So if they can start reversing now, and they do not. So right now, I'm not abandoning that bullish bias, but I want to see how we react as we are going deeper in the range. And this is a nice reaction from NQ inside of this gap. So we have this gap, hourly gap on NQ. Let's see that on. So I'm going to be waiting for 10 because we could see SMT fill with the other assets. Overall, NQ is just ripping higher, but we don't have any. We have the C2, but we don't have the CISD, so I'm just going to be waiting. Maybe one of them decides to diverge. And looks like we're just going to be pumping to the upside. So now maybe. Okay, so now we have that SMT fill that I was talking about. So maybe now we drop to the 15-minute and we have this gap. So if we see a C2, so this is a nice C2 on the 15 and over on the 30, it also looks good. I want to see if we have the CISD. So again, 15-minute C2, we need that 1 minute CISD, and we do have it. So if we close above this candle, I feel pretty confident in putting my stop maybe here, given that we have this inversion fair value gap, and then 2 bullish fair value gap. So we have quite a nice balanced price range formed here. YM, which was the weakest asset, also CISD. So this is just amazing. And given that we are so high up in the range, do I want to see price come back to here? Probably not. But we only get like 1.27. I feel like, and we are above all of these highs. So I don't know if I want to take this here. I think I'm just going to be waiting for another continuation order block. I don't like this that we have a consolidation. So I think I'm just going to miss this trade because I don't like the way we traded. Do we have a 30-minute? Yeah, we do. SMT maybe? Nope. Or we have equal lows here. This was potentially one of the entries, but yeah, I don't know. I don't like that we are consolidating and not making any more. See, yeah, I don't like these deep retracements back into the range. So I think we are just stuck, and we have exhausted our ADR for the day because, yeah, I don't know. I don't like this. Maybe here we have a nice invalidation of that 5-minute gap. On a 1 minute, it doesn't look that good. We are just simply just trading up. If I were to take a position here, maybe like this, this is looking pretty good. The 3, yeah, 3 is looking good as well. So this is at 12, and I don't really like trading at 12, but we have a nice C2 on YM. We have SMT. Overall, on the 30-minute as well, we have disrespected this previous candle's EQ. On the 15, we have a gap. And we also have a C2 on YM. And we are really close to that high. And we have this nice. What is this gap defending actually? Because it's not defending anything. So I feel like this is a pretty good setup to take. It's not the common setup. Like we have the CISD here on the 3. And then this is just trading the continuation, but using a inversion gap. So we also have this gap here that I've seen. So I'm pretty safe with my stop below the bodies of this hopefully soon to be order block, and then all of these gaps stacked here. So I'm just going to put my limit here, and let's see. So overall, this is moving pretty nicely. And given that we have taken out that, I'm not only going to move my stop here, but I'm going to pull my stop break even. So just clicking that. So we are now break even because we can reverse off of this higher time frame gap. Ideally, yeah, I want to see 50% of it as the other assets are already at all-time highs, but the ADR is just exhausted at the moment. We can move like 600 points. So yeah, if I see any hard rejections, I might just close this trade or trail more aggressively. So I want to see a closure above this to be safe. And this is nice. And given that we are so high up in the range, I'm just gonna drag my stop closer to this low. And hopefully we get tagged. And yeah. So overall, I feel like this trade was a pretty nice setup overall. We were just overextended, and chat really gave us a pretty bad start date, given that we had this contract change, and price has been more so consolidating around it. But overall, this profile, just recapping, so from the daily, just coming into 9:30, everything was so expensive to the upside. 7-hour profile, Asia expansion, London expansion. So I am just looking to trade New York as a continuation to the upside. What was the target? Our drawn liquidity was this daily gap. Pretty nice drawn liquidity. On the other assets, we didn't have any draws as we are at all-time highs, and that is why I wanted to trade NQ. Dropping to the 4-hour, nothing really major here, and I was just waiting to see if we would have any SMT fills. So we have SMT fill with the Dow at 10 o'clock, which is really nice and exactly what I wanted to see. On the 1-hour, we had the C2 at 11, and I was basically trading C3 on all of the assets, just looking to capitalize on this insane move to the upside. Overall, on the 15-minute, we were pretty consolidating. Yeah, we closed above these two down close candles, which became the propulsion block, given that this was our initial order block at 9:30, sweeping some liquidity and then closing back above. We also had a small gap here. And as for the entry mechanism, I've seen that we had this bullish gap, we invalidated, got back above it. Then we had this bearish gap and then another bullish gap. So we had quite a lot of gaps stacked inside of this range. So this was a balanced price range. And also this was a really nice ideal C2 closure where we take out the previous candle's low inside of a point of interest and then close above the series of up close candles. In this case, it's only one. Close above it, validating this as our order block. And as you can see, we have continued to go up. And as for the management, I went break even because we crossed this high and we could easily see price just reverse back into the range and up until the close, maybe seek a retracement back to 20 to 30% of this range, given that we have made like 600 points. And once we closed above these two down close candles, I moved my stop here, just protecting some of the profits in case we go back. But fortunately, we can see that we take that. And then let's see if we continue maybe to 25%, and we do not. We just start to go back. So this was a really nice exit. So let's go to the next day. This is going to be Friday. Overall, I'm going to delete again the drawings. So again, I'm expecting some bullish price action. And I'm expecting this day to stay inside 50% of this candle's range and then look to trade it back to the previous candle's high and maybe 50% of the gap. And the same on the other assets, just looking for 50% to be supported. And then our target is the previous day high. 7-hour, not really something conclusive. I mean, on NQ, we kind of have a London reversal, but you can see that we already have quite a wick here. On the other assets, looks like just a continuation to the downside. And on YM, I think I want to see this low get taken. And on ES as well. So until any of those two assets get to here, or maybe NQ, because it is actually the closest to this low, I want to see how the assets react here, because we're well above that 50% that I want to see be held. So I'm going to skip price forward a bit, maybe to 9:45, and maybe one of the assets takes that out. nothing yet. So coming into 10 o'clock, ES is really the closest to this. So if we see ES just drop inside of this gap and maybe seek a continuation on the other assets. So at 10, I don't know why. Sorry, I was on the 7. So I wanted to take a look on the 4-hour instead of the 7. So what do we see here? So we end up taking this low, and we are starting to see a reaction out of that. So I'm going to be checking the 30-minute and wait. So we have a C2 closure. Do we have the CISD? And yes, we do. Overall, YM looks to be the strongest asset. On the 1-hour, we have quite a large wick. I think the smallest wick is on NQ overall from the daily. If we just take a look here, kind of, yeah. So right now, I would need anyway a continuation order block, but let's see. So NQ takes out that low and starts moving higher, and you can see that. What do we have here? We have a continuation order block on ES. So I'm going to be taking ES here with my stop on this low. We are below this gap and this gap as well, below the breaker. So I feel like my stop is pretty safe here. If we are to go higher, this low should not be revisited. ANQ had a nice displacive move to the upside. We have SMT with this low like this. YM closed above this inversion gap that is pretty much guarding nothing. So I'm going to be expecting all of the assets to start moving in sync to the upside. So let's see. I don't like this dip retracement. Yeah. As soon as we had this really deep closure, yeah, nothing is working. So let's now go back to the high time frames and see what we do, because this was my whole idea for the day, just going back up to the daily open, and now looks like we're just displacing to the downside. So do we have any targets? Do we have 50%? So we have this gap on ES, which looks to be still the strongest one to the downside, and we have this gap as well on NQ. YM just looks to be holding. So do we have, let's delete these. So we have the C2 here, and we have SMT. We have SMT fill here. So I'm going to be demanding a continuation order block before I take a trade. So I want to see a move back into the range, and we don't see that. So we just dump straight to the target. And if the other assets start making their way back up, maybe we would see YM make its way back up as well. And maybe we can target at least these highs here. So let's look on the higher time frame. So 1 hour, I'm probably gonna wait for this to close unless I see YM flip this candle. Okay, YM flip that. So let's see where we are. So we have a 15-minute C2 out of a 4-hour gap. Overall, we are pretty expensive now. We are V-shaping out of that low. So I'm looking to trade YM back to these highs and maybe to these highs as well here, because YM didn't even take out this low, and you can see how much lower NQ and ES are compared to YM. So I should probably be waiting for either a 5 minute to close, or maybe we get a retracement back into the range. Okay, this is nice. This is the 5, so on the 3, what do we... Okay, I feel like I can take a trade here with my stop, where... With my stop maybe to 50% of this week. All of the assets V-shaping higher, CISD here, another small order block created. We have another order block here, so I feel pretty safe with my stop loss there if we are to go higher. So let's enter this on YM and see the reaction. If we close above this, this would be really good, and I could probably trail my stop closer. So this is a really nice, I want to see it close, so we got a really nice closure. I can trail my stop to this series of down close candles. And YM is really nicely pushing up. And can we take that? Nice. So this is a really, really nice trade. Really nice comeback following that morning loss on ES. So let's recap from the daily chart. What were we expecting? So we had this insane day posted on Thursday, and I was just looking to see 50% of this range be respected for us to continue our way to all-time highs on NQ as well. But the daily profile was not really that great, and I wanted to see at least one of the assets take out this low from the previous day's New York session 7-hour candle. And at 10 o'clock, ES initially took out that low, and we started to see some movement to the upside. And that is why, actually, I think the trade was on NQ. I don't remember. Anyway, so, or yeah, I don't know. I don't remember. Yeah, it was on ES. It was on ES. It was on ES. So yeah, we took out that low. We started to displace, and I wanted to wait for the continuation order block. We also have, so we had a larger SMT with NQ initially with this low, and then you can see that NQ took out this 10-12 low. So we have SMT, and NQ basically closed right at the same price level as this candle here. So I was just calling this a CISD, with ES being much, much stronger and closing well above these two down close candles, and as well as this bearish gap here. That is why I initially entered here. And you can see that we wanted to delve deeper inside this range. And once we got inside of this 4-hour gap, which I think sits really close to 50%, if not, yeah, it's exactly at the EQ of this range, I wanted to see how we react there. And you can see that we had a pretty nice V shape. So given that we have started to heavily displace to the upside, which was the strongest asset overall? Well, that was YM, where you can see that this blue line delineates where that initial 4-hour low was that I wanted to see either of the assets take, which was initially just ES. So YM was the overall leader to the upside. And if we drop to the 3-minute, you can see that we had CISD, and then even on the 5, we had the CISD, we have the initial CISD at 10, and then we have the continuation order block. And on the 1-minute, we had a lot of fair value gaps here. So I entered as soon as we dropped inside of one, and I put my stop basically to half of this wick, because if we were to go down, we would have taken all of this liquidity here. So I felt pretty safe with my stop there. And we have started to make our way up. We validated this sequence of down close candles as our next order block, jammed my stop to this low, and you can see that the trade pretty much skyrocketed to our take profit, which were these stacked lows and our present high of day. So yeah, I think this is gonna be it, guys. This was just supposed to be a really short session, just polishing my trading ability and showing you how I do it and what the process is. And overall, close to 5R, so 4.4R on, I think this was just this week, right? Let me see the analytics. So, yeah, just 60% win rate, which is not bad given that our risk to reward is really above 2. So our loss is really so much smaller than our target. And yeah, I'm gonna be doing these more often until I feel like I am back to my all-time highs in terms of reading price and actually executing on it, because this was a really weird and pretty challenging week, given that this was a contract change, and you have seen that we had, I think, 2 really consolidative days, and then we had some insane runners, and this is just how it is every day, just reassessing after losing and thinking if we have enough range to go to the target. And it's just all of these things, a lot of things to keep track of, and 1,000 things moving at the same time. And it's just our job to manage our entries, our expectations, and knowing when to skip the day and when to push harder. So yeah, this is gonna be it, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this, and if you have any questions, please let me know down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.